Welcome to another edition of ECAC Hockey Decision Makers. Thrilled to be joined by Union College coach Josh Hauge. Coach, great to have you aboard.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How'd you get to Union College?
I got a little bit, I guess, of a unique path in the fact that after I was done playing in college there, I started kind of at the lowest level of coaching in the junior B world, and kind of proud of the path and the fact that I worked my way up from the junior B leagues to the North American Hockey League as an assistant, and from the North American Hockey League in Fairbanks, Alaska, to the head coach there, and then got an opportunity to go to the USHL, and from the USHL was 4 years in Fargo and Tri-City as an assistant and a head coach there. And then lucky enough to get to Clarkson, where I spent 7 years, my longest tenure anywhere. Now this is my third year at Union.
So lots of different stops, lots of great experience. What's it like to run a team in Alaska?
I loved it there. The people were great. It was all hockey, and it was really nice because you learned, like, you had to knock on a lot of doors as far as recruiting to get players to go there, because some people was just an automatic no. I ended up finding out that it was like it was just a nice litmus test to see if people loved hockey or not. Like, if you're willing to come to Fairbanks, where you're going to have a packed house every single night, and crazy fans, and get everything you need, well, you're happy. But if it's too far, you weren't going to be a player that was going to thrive under us.
We have something in common besides the same barber. We both worked up in the North Country. You were at Clarkson, I was at St. Lawrence. Tell me about your experience in the North Country with hockey.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, it was a place where people were passionate about hockey. For me, I think it was really valuable. I was coming from the USHL and the North American Hockey League, and then really opened my world to Ontario hockey and hockey in Quebec. And for us to be successful here at Union, we got to be pretty good in those markets. Like Ontario and Quebec are really important, and I think it was really beneficial for me to get up there, see all those different rinks, meet all those different people, and really kind of broaden my network for a recruiter.
Speaking of recruiting, lots of different changes between college hockey and the Canadian Hockey League, major junior hockey. How will that affect you going forward, coach?
We're still going to be, looking for highly driven individuals when, whether you choose to go up to the CHL or you stay in prep school and then go to the USHL. I mean, for us, it really doesn't matter. We want guys that are, getting puck touches and playing key minutes, and then, um, give yourself the chance to be successful before you move on. And then, whatever path that goes, like, we're excited about our interactions in the CHL have been really good thus far. But we're not going to forget, kind of where our bread is buttered. And that's, kids on the East Coast here that are, academically driven.
You're about to have a new rink. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I think for us, it's bittersweet. Obviously, like, the playoffs will be our last game here at Mesa, and it's been an outstanding building for us. But to have a place that it's really nice. I mean, we've been walking through it, and kind of been able to design, whether it's the weight room that flows into the locker room, into the training room, and just kind of have everything right at your fingertips. I think it'll be great for our players, and for us in the recruiting world.
I was just going to ask you, do you see it paying off so far in terms of new recruits?
I mean, everything is so new for me. I mean, like, still, like, the guys that came in with me as were freshmen are now juniors. So I think we've hit a lot of home runs in the recruiting world, and whether it's the rink, whether it was the new staff, whether it was just the tradition from what Union has done in the past. I mean, recruiting for us has been pretty good. Like, when we get somebody on campus, I feel like we can close anyone, and we've been pretty lucky that way.
Everybody looks for different characteristics in players, coach. What do you look for when you're on the road recruiting?
I think for us, it's just, we're trying to find good people that have had some adversity and continue to work through it, and are having success at their level. Obviously, like, the skill portion of it, like, we want to play a puck possession game where we hold on to pucks, and if you make a turnover here, you're not going to get someone jumping down your throat. We're going to talk to you about how to manage the game maybe a little bit better, but we want guys that want to make plays. So it comes down to the fact that we know we're going to get guys that compete really hard, guys that want to make plays, and guys that are going to do the right thing when no one's looking.
Is there an area right now where you say, boy, this is a
Sorry.
full area for Union College? We got to be in there big time.
I mean, for us right now, like we've really just kind of hammered, the US market, I think, because I think everybody's so focused on the CHL that there's a lot of good players that, are getting overlooked right now in the USHL, North American Hockey League, you know, prep hockey. So like for us, it's been, staying focused on the players in the US right now, just because I think everybody's looking up at the CHL. And obviously we're still looking up there, but we're trying to, find those players in the USHL and North American hockey leagues that are, maybe just falling on through the cracks.
You coach in the Clarkson St. Lawrence thing. That's a pretty heated rivalry. Now you're at Union RPI. Do you see similarities between what you experienced in the North Country to what you're experiencing in the Capital District?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it is really similar in just the passion and how much everybody cares about the game. It is really different on just how much media attention there is around the games in the capital region. In the North Country, it's you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas station, and people are talking about it. Where here, it's it's kind of on TV, and you go into the rinks, and everybody's like, "Oh, I saw you on TV." And so I think that's kind of cool, is just how much media coverage is here versus up there.
When you think about where the ECAC is right now as a league, what's the one thing you'd like to see the league do better?
I think that for the most part, we're doing a lot of really good things, and we're taking steps. I mean, right now, I think it's just fighting our perception in certain areas where people think that, it is just a academic league, or it's that, like, no, we want guys that want to be pros, and we want guys that are striving to get to that next level, and guys that are going to be successful in whatever they do in life. So, hockey at some point is going to come to an end, but we want to have leaders, whatever field they end up in.
How do you prepare your team for the upcoming playoffs?
For us right now, it's kind of nice. We get this week here just to really focus on ourselves, spending some time doing a little bit of extra skill work, a little bit extra time on some special situations that maybe you don't get in your week to week reps. But then at the same point, we're trying to rest and work. So it's when we're away from the rink, we want guys to be able to focus just on school, focus on their social life a little bit, get away from the game. But when you're coming into the rink, we want guys to really push, and we're trying to go for 60 minutes as hard as we can up and down the sheet. A lot of puck touches, and not a ton of contact. As we go into the weekend, we'll get a little bump in, and then from there, we'll get ready for the week.
What impressed you the most about this season in the ECAC?
I just think the level of competition from top to bottom, really on any given night, anything can happen. And I think you've seen that throughout the league. I thought this year's first year class was amazing. Just some of the players, on different teams that were scoring, and the level of playmaking ability that was making from the first year players was pretty special.
I find that interesting too. I've watched a lot of games, obviously, just like you do, you coaching them as well. And that's the thing that really stood out to me. The freshman presence in the ECAC this year was pretty substantial. Is that just cyclical, or is that something you think will be maintained?
Well, I think you've seen now, you got some teams that have, relied on the fifth year player, and, maybe first year guys didn't get as much of an opportunity as they did this season. So I think, I think that's maybe part of it, but I think it's also, it's kudos to the whole league on just some of the players they brought in. I think the guys did a nice job recruiting this year.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. When you're now preparing your team for the playoffs, and guys obviously know that it's one and done. Well, in your situation, it's best 2 out of 3. Is there a way that you can make them understand, like, just how big this would be for Union to get to Lake Placid?
Well, I think these guys have been here with me, for the most part. Our biggest class is our junior class, and they've seen it from when, hey, you're at rock bottom. I mean, we were at the bottom of the league that first year, and to take a step, and now to take another step this year and earn the bye. But we haven't been to Placid. I mean, like, that's something that we just haven't done in a long time. And I mean, there's a little bit of a buzz around campus about what we've done, but we got to finish that job. And I mean, it's everything for us right now. It's everything that this group has said they wanted to do. And, you know, whoever we get in that next round, it's going to be a really tough series, but we're really excited for it.
What would it mean to the fans of Union College and to the program in particular just to get an opportunity to go to Lake Placid?
I just think that the investment that the school has put, the loyalty that the fans have, you know, stayed with us, you know, for some, maybe some harder times, and now to kind of see it come back again, I think is exciting for everyone. And, you know, we got some special things going on. That means like, if we're getting to Placid, that means we won our last game at Mesa. That means that our president, who's outgoing, who's done a ton for us, getting us a new building, you know, the ability to give scholarships, which we didn't have. We're kind of doing right by him as well. So I think there's a lot for us to really play for. You know, even our, you know, the voice of Union hockey is battling cancer. So, I mean, there's just a lot of different things that, you know, we don't have to look too hard to find a reason to compete.
Well, that's really well said, Coach. I really appreciate that. I'm just fascinated by the fact that you talked about the scholarship situation. When I was coaching at St. Lawrence, we didn't have scholarships either. It's a hard way to compete. How much will that change things for your program?
Well, I think it allows us to be, you know, in the conversation with anyone. When you get a financial aid read, you know, it's just like, you really, you know, you're at the mercy of whatever those numbers are, and you don't have a lot of control in it. Now we have the ability to help out, and I think be able to take that burden away from a family is pretty special. And I think just in the whole recruiting landscape right now, it really challenges your integrity as a coach. When you give your word, are you going to keep your word? And I think in college hockey right now, there are some places where, hey, they're gonna mass recruit, they're gonna offer 35 people and then figure it out in, you know, 2 or 3 years. We're trying to be a program where if we give you our word, we're gonna honor that. And that's a tough way to work, because you're gonna make mistakes, and you got to stick with those. But like, for us as a staff, it's something that we take wholeheartedly, and we're really trying to attack. And we want to be a group where, hey, we might not be the best coaches every day. We're going to make mistakes, but we're always going to try to be honest, and whatever we say, we're going to try to honor.
How much impact have the alumni had on the hockey program at Union?
I mean, again, I haven't been everywhere, but like, being in a spot here, like, they're amazing. The Garnet Blades is the alumni network, and they do so much for this program. Anything we need, they're taken care of. And then anytime you go on the road, there's a Blades member that's at, you know, Yale. There's a Blades member that's at in the North Country. It doesn't matter where you go. We got people that are supporting us, and just I don't know if there's a more giving network, not only of their time and their financial resources, than what we have here at Union.
You've had NHL players play at Union for a long time. I remember Steve Baker, former goalie for the New York Rangers, who's a Union College guy. Tell me how much, like, would a Shane Gostisbehere get involved, or Daniel Carr get involved? Do you hear from those guys?
Yeah, all the time. They're still connected with the program. You know, when we get a big win, you know, I get a text from, you know, those guys. They're very supportive of us. And you know, even right now, as we get ready for the push for Placid, they're always, hey, if you guys need anything, we're here. So it's pretty cool to see. We have had guys that have went and watched Shane play, and he takes care of them. And, you know, they were all back this summer for their 10-year reunion of the national championship, and that's pretty special.
You worked with Casey Jones up at Clarkson. He's about to take over Cornell Big Red. You're at Union, obviously, and what's that going to be like the first time you have to go against him when he's a head coach at Cornell and you're at Union?
Well, I think, I mean, we've at least done it a little bit here, in the sense of when he was at Clarkson. But I think it's just, you know, hey, he's done a ton for me, and he's somebody that's done so much for my family, and you know, forever grateful for him giving me that opportunity. And you know, for him to be able to go back to Cornell, I think that's amazing for him and his family. So it'll be fun. It's always nice to connect, and you know, just, you know, take some time before and after the game, and, you know, hopefully it's, you know, grabbing a coffee before as well. So really happy, and that he gets that opportunity, and, again, really thankful for everything he's done for me.
You're a guy from the Midwest. It's Minnesota high school hockey time and the tournament's going on. Do you watch it much?
Yeah, last night actually I was streaming it. For us too, Minnesota's an area where we've been able to get some players, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, and just, I don't know, the celebrations right now last night were a little crazy, but I mean, other than that, they're having a lot of fun with it. And, it's what I grew up with, and just having those, that week of school where, in elementary, you had the teachers playing it in the classroom. It's just what you grow up with when you're there.
Are you worried at all because of the relationship between the CHL and college hockey right now that maybe prep schools will be losing a little bit of their luster? Do you worry about that at all?
I think a little bit, just talking with the prep coaches, they're all concerned right now. And I think, uh, I wish, like, if you can go back, I wish there would have been maybe a little bit more planning on just kind of how this whole process was going to go. I thought it was really, knee jerk reaction, and, not a great plan. But it is what it is. So now, like, everybody's just trying to find their niche and where they can fit in, and continue to develop players. And I think you're just gonna see players coming from, it was already a unique path on how to get to Division I college hockey, and now it's even gonna be, crazier.
No, I agree with that. I mean, that's the one thing that's really interesting about this. It could get crazy early on once people start to establish certain criteria. It's going to be really interesting to watch. What has to happen for your group, let's say, to take the next step and get the placer? What do you need to do as a coach to get them there?
I think, I mean, at this point, it's just kind of giving them the freedom to make their plays, and go. I mean, we're not going to change a ton at this point in the season. I think, this week we've spent a little time working on, just few little subtle changes in case, depending on who we play. But for the most part, our team is kind of who they are. We really like them, and, there's a lot of ability. We have a lot of depth scoring. So I think just, making sure they compete, making sure we still hold them accountable and not get too loose this week, and really buckle down for this push to, for the weekend.
Coach, people are really excited for you, for your program, and especially with the new rink coming up. I'll miss going into Achilles. I spent a lot of time there as a young guy, but I'm sure everybody's excited. Congratulations on a fantastic year at Union, and I wish you all the best. And hopefully, we'll see you at Lake Placid. Excuse me. Thank you
Yeah,
for Josh.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Great to be joined by Union College head coach Josh Hauge, getting ready to get his team prepared for the playoffs in the ECAC tournament.